with Tom Erbe, who works closely with Make Noise on some of their DSP modules. He's got new plugins from the Soundhack range for 2015.
Excuse me, I couldn't hear you. It's really terrible.
You've got the new plugins from the Soundhack range.
Yeah, I've been developing the Make Noise modules, but I've also been rebuilding all the Soundhack plugins. A lot of them are things that I've had out for years. There's a Decimate, which I did in 1999, so it's a fairly old bit crusher, but I've revamped it and trying to keep the sound exactly the same, but since it's a distortion plugin, adding input gain and output gain to make it more flexible, adding metering to make it a little easier to use. But yeah, it's still a nice and nasty decimator. Binaural, I've put in new LFO structure. The old one was a bit baroque, and I need to just sort of make it more familiar. You know, I'm trying to put little gooey things in there so people can see what's going on. I mean, as I said before, binaural's real popular for people doing beats where they can place beats in different places around the head, you know, to get more animation. I mean, when you're doing stuff in the box, I feel what you need is something that really adds a little more drama to your music, gives you a little more depth and dimension. So I've been dedicated to this, you know, more esoteric processing. Spectral Compand is, I have it disabled by right now, but let me, you know, this is a spectral compressor, so it does many, many bands of compression, and one thing it never had was a number of band control, so now it can go up to 8,192 bands, and all the way down to 8 bands, so it's, you know, really flexible. You know, of course, it's maybe too flexible for most people, but it's a deep plugin. It's something you can get into and just completely change your sound. For the simple plugin, I added this plugin called Flipper, and what this does, if I can enable it down here, it's a granular reverser. So this just simply takes a portion of your sound, like now it's taking 2-second portions and reversing them, and then overlapping them with the previous and next sections by up to anywhere from 0 to 100%. And this just totally, you know, screws up your audio, or if it's tempo synced, you can use it to turn your beat around, yeah. So it's tempo locked, all that. And that's pretty much it. This is only some of my plugins. I have 17 plugins total. I'm not quite done with the conversion. You can see the pitch shift still has the old GUI, but I'm transplanting all of that stuff into the new format. Pitch shift is a pitch shifter and a harmonic sieve. So when you connect it to a MIDI keyboard, and in this case, you can have it play chords, it forces whatever's coming into it into the harmonics of whatever you're playing on the keyboard. So I'm basically, this year is preserving the old stuff, moving forward a little bit, still doing a lot of stuff with Make Noise. Next year there'll be a lot more because I'll have this sort of solid framework to work with.
So your plugins, or building plugins, does that help with the process of making the modules?
Both ways. Actually, I mean, I've been making plugins since Decimate, since 1999, so it's like 15 years now. And the one thing I've found is it's very easy with plugins to make them extremely complex and deep, but that's not necessarily good for the customer. So when I started doing collaborations with Make Noise, I had to simplify things just because of the restrictions. Like if you add a knob to a module, it actually increased the cost like $30 or something. And I always want my stuff to be affordable, and I want everyone to be able to get to it. So there was a lot of work in each one of these modular things to bring the knobs down to the simplest possible. So like Echophone really comes down to 4 key controls. There's also other things like dry wet mix, of course, but it's really 4 controls. The Erbe, which is really deep, I got it down to 7 knobs, which really, when I made the plugin, it was like, 15 knobs. So it's really the converse. The making stuff for modular has helped my plugin design immensely. So now the next plugins I'll be doing are going to be much more simple from the user interface. So like Flipper, it's only 2 controls, but it can get an incredible range of sound. And similarly, I'll probably be doing a convolution reverb for plugin format soon. And I'm going to break that down to as simple as I can get it, so that a user will be able to just like drop sound files on it, drop impulse responses on it, and just get their sound immediately without, doing too much. So,
the most least important question of all, which one do you prefer? Working with plugins or working with hardware?
It's different. I mean, I love modular stuff. I mean, I was a teenager in the 70s when it was sort of the classic modular time, and I couldn't afford anything. I just would look at these things as, oh my God, this is so great. So right now, modular's affordable. So this is something really special to me, that I can play with this stuff, that I can even build the stuff, Now I can design the stuff I want to have. So that's really, really fun. But still, I see this as being maybe out of the range of some people. So to me, plugins are really special in that everyone can afford them. Everyone can work with them, and you can use these as a kid and sort of grow up on electronic music. So to me, they're both really important.
Thank you very much.
Okay.